Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today I'm going to show you the Bastion Strike Force for Imperial Fists. Which, though they could be for Imperial Fists, you could certainly use them for any of the Space Marines chapters, and I'll get into that as well as I'll get into the various weapon options you can expect. Not much into the way of assembling, other than what your options are and how easy it is, because I didn't find anything difficult. When it came to assembling these guys, Space Marines are generally one of the easier ones to assemble, thankfully. But I'll get into what I did find and the weapon options and magnetization options and stuff like that. Alright, so the first thing to note is that this kit could easily be for any Space Marine chapter that you want to build. It is approximately 700 points, or more if you add more expensive gear. Getting this box saves you approximately 39% of the individual unit's cost, and if you don't count the Imperial Fist upgrade sprue in there, you are still saving approximately 33% of getting all of these models separately, because it is a two-step customization to take Tor Garridan and turn him into a regular Space Marine captain should you wish to. And let's look at him now. So I haven't attached him to his little piece yet, because you definitely want to paint this separately and then attach them all to his base, and probably scoot some texture paint onto there to push that into the ground to give it a bit more difference than just this random piece of rock. And I'm contemplating not using the rock at all, because he would kind of look pretty good if he was stepping on, I don't know, a corpse of some kind. This little guy is completely unattachable, and his shoulder plate can be detached just like any of the other regular shoulder plates that you mentioned, so you can easily remove this, remove that, and you've got a Space Marine with a power fist. And I mean, he doesn't have anything else at the moment, and you probably want to remove this grav gun, since Space Marine captains don't necessarily have it, but this whole piece can come off, and this looks like a regular cool looking Space Marine backpack, and you don't need to put that one on either. And then if you see any part that you don't necessarily like, then you could always add some purity seals. He doesn't have a helmeted version of himself. There is a little eyepiece missing, because I'm going to show you. Right, here's the helmet for one of these guys. I had to cut the knob off because it wouldn't fit. It's a little diamond area in there. So we're going to put it in there, and it can settle in there. Okay, there are some little pieces on the right side of his helmet that make it a little bit awkward to put it in, but if you angle his head in a particular direction, he will look just fine with a helmet from one of these guys. There are no extra pieces once you build him. Now, some may want to paint his cloak before you put on the backpack and top part of his power fist, which would probably be a good idea. And you can even assemble the power fist to the backpack and just press it into place after you're done the cloak if you want to. That's probably the easiest way to go about it. Of course, if you didn't, I think that would be perfectly fine, because this cord here would cast a very dark shadow. It's doing it right now, but I think you'd be able to show it even better with paint. Look how much of a shadow is naturally cast by this thing. That makes it a lot easier to paint, because you don't need highlights. You do your one darkest color that you want for the cloak in most of this area, and then it's only the areas that are pointing upward and away from this place that you'll want to highlight anyway. So even if you put this on top of it, I don't think you'll have much trouble. Just try for only 1 to maximum 2 tones in this heavily shaded area, because that would look natural. If you had any highlights in there, it wouldn't look quite right. And now let's check out our unit of aggressors. Oh, and I feel I should note that these Space Marines, like all of the other Space Marines and Orcs, come to think of it, have slightly different plastic than some of the other armies. They are designed to be more durable, clearly. You can feel it when you're building it. I mean, if you build lots of armies, you can feel it. Every part is just slightly thicker with less dangly bits. So these guys, you could definitely, you know, be a bit rough on, and they'll be fine. I'm gonna regret doing that. But the point is made. They're tougher. That doesn't mean that their paint will come off any less if you do that. But they're tough. I definitely wouldn't do that without an Drukari or something like that. So they're nice and tough. Oh, right. None of them have the Imperial Fist right onto their shoulders, of course. That is what your handy dandy upgrade sprue is about. So you're getting that many random shoulder pads to go around with. Very easy to attach shoulder pads or not, as you see fit. And the heads fit, and all of the extra heads that were on there fit in any of the guys as well. All right, so the aggressors, they can have either Flamestorm gauntlets, which look like this. That's the Flamestorm gauntlet. Okay. Or they can have Boltstorm gauntlets with Fragstorm grenade launcher. The Flamestorm gauntlet does not have this little piece that sits on top of their backpack, so make certain not to add that should you do that. Now, as you can see, if you were going to magnetize it, these are the two pieces. It looks exactly the same. It attaches right here, so magnetizing onto the backpacks would be very straightforward. Even have a tiny little hole there, so you'd want to extend that out for your larger round magnet, I would imagine. And then you've got a space inside, which makes it even easier, a space inside the gauntlet that you can hide magnets so that it has a two-piece attachment. Now each guy is going to be holding his arm in a slightly different pose, so you want to make certain that you keep well, you'll notice when you're, but you can't change out which arm goes where because they're going to be slightly different, but you get to choose which arm goes on which model, so you can keep them all different as you like. And of course you have a freedom to put any helmet on each model and have them pointing in whichever direction you like, as long as you cut off the knob that is underneath the head. You've got a little bit of freedom to do what you feel like. These are such nice models. Look at such nice looking models. Now for this one though, this one, it's either the plain backpack or this on top. So if you're trimming with silver, then it's probably okay to put a little circle or square magnet there on top of the backpack. No one's really going to notice. Otherwise you probably want to put some grenades or something to take the place of this if you're going to magnetize between having the rocket launcher on or not. There's even these little things that you could scoot on there just to hide the magnet something. Unless, of course, you're very comfortable with applying plastic putty over the magnet that's recessed below and sanding it down so it looks like a smooth piece of plastic again. That is what you would have to do, but it is pretty straightforward for magnetization. You're just looking at two variant pieces like that. All right. Lastly, we have the 3 squads of heavy intercessors. Since their arms and heads can be attached to whichever body you want, at whichever angle you like, within reason, and there are extra belt pouches, grenades, pistol holsters, purity seals, and so on, you can easily make each of them their own individual man. And you can even add some of the extra little bits from the upgrade sprue to make them even more unique. Now, there is supposed to be a sergeant in each group. It's more easy to choose someone who looks sergeant-esque when you're using the heavy bolt rifles because they have more unique poses than the other two variants. But for the most part, I would suggest just painting, other than the sergeant cannot have the heavier weapon, which I'll talk about shortly. You may want to just go with a nice bright color helmet that is different from all the others, like you would normally do for Space Marines for picking out their sergeants, because it's not exactly easy to tell because the sergeant is using the exact same weapon as most everyone else. Alright, so we have 3 different weapon types. We have the one that actually shows it up so you can see it okay, but sort of. Alright, this one, fine, this one. This one is the heavy bolt rifle. So when you choose a weapon type, you have to stick to it on all of them. So I have a 5-man group of heavy bolt rifles. I have a 5-man group of Hellstorm bolt rifles, and I have a 5-man group of Executor bolt rifles. Now you can currently, for 10 extra points, turn one of your heavy bolt rifles into a heavy bolter, or you can turn one of your Hellstorm bolt rifles into a Hellstorm heavy bolter, or you can turn your Executor bolt rifles into a Executor heavy bolter. If you want to magnetize these, it would take a fair bit of magnets. 4 magnets per fellow, but you should be able to do it pretty straightforward because the attachment, it goes directly on the gun. Right here, you'll see it when you get to it. The attachment plugs right into the same gun. So it's only this shape that's different. There's not a lot of space in there to put magnets, so you're probably going to want to use really thin magnets. Same thing with this, there's more of a piece to attach, but again, you're sharing the main gun, but you have a piece that you can just attach to it no matter what it is without too much difficulty, as long as you're comfortable working with small pieces that you have to carve out or drill out to fit your magnets inside. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe because it's Christmas time, or because you liked the video. Either work for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Make certain you comment below if you had any questions whatsoever about Space Marine models of any kind, because I've probably assembled them all at some point or another. And I hope you have a fantastic holiday. I will catch you in the next video. Bye! We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yeah. La la. Ah. Look at this guy. In case you didn't see him, this was the guy I painted in the Imperial Fist contrast paint video I did. I thought it would be a good time to bring him back. He's still hanging around. And just like him, my fingers were also painted contrast. This was over white, and this was over ivory, and this was over ivory with flash gets yellow in between. Can't really see a difference, but thought I'd show you. And this guy I did by hand to just test this guy out for its glossiness. Actually, see, glossy. This is actually very handy for pupils. It's a paint pen by Copic, and it is very handy for pupils or tiny little Imperial Fists. If you didn't want to use up These guys, of course, these are much nicer. But if you're stuck, then you could use that. I thought I did pretty well. First try. Okay, bye.